Welcome to Trading Lounge and the daily US stocks for Wednesday, June 15. So, just starting with the NASDAQ, just to give us a bit of bearing on this. As you know, we were looking at, the trend slowing down over the last sort of few days. And then we still need wave 4 and wave 5 to come down here. So I'm thinking perhaps the solstice, which is coming up on the 21st, or depending where you are in the world. But you can see here that we've got this wave 1 and 2 that's kind of definite, isn't it? Then we've got this sort of wave 3. We don't have a wave 4, but also as I mentioned yesterday, that the wave 2 here, if that is correct, it's quite big and complicated for the size of wave 1. So the guideline of alternation would normally have wave 4 as being complicated and wave 2 being simple, but I think wave 2 is complex, and it'll make wave 4 simple, and then we'll have wave 5 down. So that's sort of where we are. It's, as I've mentioned, it's not going to be very good trading in all of this space here. The other points to make here is that I've got this as wave 1. It is possible to have a low here of wave 5, so from wave 4 to wave 5 here, and that's the end of it. Okay, so that's a possibility, but also the other possibility is that we come down further, and that means that the move up here would be, if we just start to paint a picture here, as we sort of have been, let's just assume that the NASDAQ comes to 11,000, then the retracement level would be 50-60%. We'll just put it there for the time being. It might just come back and cover the gap. It'll be interesting to see how wave 4 plays out, see if wave 4 comes back to its 38.2% retracement level here from wave 2 here, which will be just a little bit higher here. So it'll try to cover the gap, but may fail in doing so at that point. And also too, with the 11,500 is the medium level, as I mentioned before, it might hold the price closer to that level, so we'll just see how far that can go up there. What number's that? 12,000. Well, that looks like a nice number to basically sort of head towards, doesn't it? So I'll put that there. So there is a possibility of coming down at this point now, so we've got to be a little bit thoughtful, and I'm talking about stocks here as well. It's the same story. So in a way, it would be nice to go long, close to the low here, and as the market moves up here, then we can see what the pattern looks like. I mean, the safe trade on the short side, as I mentioned before, will be under wave B here, but we should be able to improve on that as well. So what's today? We're coming into Wednesday. So Wednesday, I thought Thursday would be giving us this rally, but it's only it always takes longer than you think. So I call Wednesdays and Thursdays the swing days within the trend. Anyway, let's just see where we get to with all of this. It will just depend on how complicated wave 4 gets, how many a day or a couple of days, or does it take us, we're looking at this next week sort of thing, but yeah, anyway, we've got to give some thought, because if this if this is a low down here of wave 5, then we'll look back on it and think to ourselves, we're sort of idiots for not getting in, not building a trade in it. So we need to find a way to do it. I suppose, if you normally trade 10 contracts, we could just trade 1 or 2 into this part here until we understand what's going on, because this particular structure, as it moves to the upside, the A wave here will be 5 waves. Normally wave 2 is a zigzag, so it'll be a 5, 3 waves and 5 waves, so a 5, 3, 5, 3, 5 structure, a zigzag. Yeah, so it should be a bit interesting. I hope it's a bit more simple than this one here. you know, because patterns can tend to repeat themselves, so we'll just need to be aware of that as well. Anyway, there's a lot of consideration to be sort of had with all of this. Anyway, always a bit of a puzzle. Most of the time it's a puzzle to figure out the best way forward. I mean, a trend is pretty simple once it sort of gets going. Anyway, look, that's the story for the stocks that we're looking at today as well. You know, we may have a low in place coming into this area here, or we have 2, 3, 4, and 5. There is the other option too, that we look at all of this as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here as part of a larger WXY pattern for all of these markets as well. So there's a few things that we still need to work through with all of this. And then on top of that, then there's that larger bearish count that we've got as well. So don't need to worry about that too much at the moment, because if we do catch this here, you know, building in trades down here somewhere, then you know, we're going to be on the right track for that, and we'll just need to manage wave 4 at that point and see what it looks like. We'll be able to see how fast this comes down as well. That will have a lot to do with things. Okay, anyway, food for thought. Anyway, we'll keep sort of chogging along with that. I'll just put that to the side in case we're going to chat about it again. So Apple here, once again, this is just a daily chart here, but we can see we've got 1 and 2 here in this, but we don't see 4 and 5 here yet. So it's the same thing as well. We need that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. And once again, it can also be the low at this point here. So wave 5 or wave 1 at this point, so it'll be about the wave 2 we'll be focusing in on. We can go in and have a look at this on, I think, maybe 100 ticks. I know we got 1,000 there, but I don't know what I've updated. So yeah, same same thing here as well. So this could rally back to, well, we always just look at it as a starting point, the 38.2, so it's going to could cover that gap at that point. So we might see a bit of a rally there. It's pretty high, but looks a bit high, but anyway, we'll see. And you know, that's possible at this point, and we still need our wave 5 down here as well for all of that. So if you are short in this market, then you know, it's time to at least reduce your positions, you know, by sort of 70-80% or whatever. And if we do rally here, I should be able to get you back in coming down this leg here, but I wouldn't expect this to be too long here. I think it will be playing out across the 130 because the extensions in wave 3, that means the length of wave 1 and the length of wave 5 are going to be sort of roughly the same. Take that with a pinch of salt. Rightio, let's sort of scoot along. They're all going to be the same. So Nvidia here, 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for the third wave. Fourth wave, probably need to put that up there too. It can pull back to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree. It'll probably be looking at that. Gap there, yeah, right on the nose. But what we normally do with that is we take the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree, that high, and the 38.2, and we get that sort of little zone there. It's not perfect, but it just sort of keeps us a bit safe, swimming between the flags, so to speak. But better to count the waves as we go. It looks like we've got a little impulse wave here, so it'll be some sort of ABC pattern in here. We can put that into play here. I'll just prepare it for tomorrow. And we're not going to need these for a little while, so I'm just going to put these out of the way. This wave 2 here, by the way, will probably end up pulling back to this here, because we'll have that high and then we'll have the wave 4 high as well. So it will give that strong resistance at that point. So anyway, we'll just see how that goes. I mean, normally you don't trade wave fours, okay? So because they'll chop you up a bit. So just be a bit careful about that. I mean, the first step to do within wave fours is to trade less. Don't lose any money that you've made on the way down. That's rule number one. So definitely trade less. So definitely less than half of what you would normally be trading, because the risk is much higher. It's twice as high. Wave fours can get very choppy and complicated. You can't get your stops too close. You're better off just thinking to yourself, okay, so if I'm going to trade long here, I'll need to do a few things. So let's just sort of have a look at that. So first of all, here we can see that this move here is in 3 waves. It's only in 3 waves until this thing here is breached. So if that's breached, then you can go, okay, I can go along there. And then you can look at this one here. It's got a nice set of legs, so it's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So you could go long here with the stop down here somewhere. And then you think to yourself, okay, well, what's the closest largest number? Well, 60's in here. That's going to give me a hard time. This looks like 1, 2 here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for the 3rd wave, 4th wave, and 5th wave. So I could have an A wave here, or this could just be wave 1 here, and this being wave 2 here. So I don't really know that at this point in time, but this point here is that if you're going to trade long, this would be wave 1 here and wave 2 coming back here. They can pull back 50-60%, and then 3, it's not going to get us very high really, is it? 4 and 5. I mean, personally, I'd be trading to the 165. That's where, but getting through 160 is a bit of a job. But you've got everything to go long here. You've got 5 waves here. You've got a corrective wave here. You've got an impulse wave here. You can add to the position on here with a classic trading levels pattern sitting on here, and just keep your stop below the 61.8%. Just keep it out of the way for the time being. Everything looks pretty safe at that point. I'm not calling this in as a trade. I'm just sort of, this is what will be happening across the board, and I'm just sort of helping out here in terms of, because I don't particularly, trading through these wave 4s are a little bit tricky, you know what I mean? So we could have wave 1 here, or we could have, but if that's 1, 2, that's going to be 3, 4, 5. We're going to be pretty much up there at that point. Anyway, still could be at that point. I mean, the thing is that wave A here can also be, with a wave 4, it could just be 3 waves here. It could be a little A, B, and C for the A wave, then a B wave, and then a C wave here. So, yeah, look, there's 11 or 12 different types of corrections, and they can all happen in wave 4s. And, yeah, but anyway, like I said, wave 2 was pretty complex, so wave 4 should be pretty simple. But take money off the table as you go up. So I'll just put my little TP there at 65, because 65 is the beginning of 72, and then obviously 68 is also a good number to take some off at as well, and definitely 172, because when we talk about 180, we've got 165, 172, and 180. That's just the shell of minor group 2 in here. So there's a lot of other important numbers in there, of course. 170 is important. But if I was trading to 170, I know I'd just trade to 168, because I know that all the bids would be building up in the market depth at number 8. I always call 8 a profit-taking number, so I don't need to get to the 170 at that point. Alrighty. Anyway, enough waffling. So Amazon as well. I won't go into the intraday here, as I mentioned yesterday, because I still want, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. We still need it to finish off here. It's possible there's a low in here, and it's the same old story as well. We could get a rally and then have another 5 down. So this is what we need to be mindful of. So, but anyway, the same story in Amazon. I wouldn't go trading into that 100 there. There's going to be you don't want to trade around the 100. We will later on. We'll be shorting it below here, below the 100, and we'll see what this looks like up here. One of the stocks that we look at will be leading, and it will tell us that we're in some sort of corrective pattern up here. But the wave 2 rally is going to be exactly like a bullish move as well. They'll have the same things, you know. So Tesla here, so we're looking at a rally coming into play here, so that will take us to, well, take us to there. So it looks like it's already, yeah, so in this case it looks like it's already got the A wave here coming into play, and the B wave may or may not be done, but we can expect something like this in this case. Now this whole move from wave 4 down to wave 5, that can be a low here, or we need to treat it as wave 1 and go back to wave 2 and then go down again as well. It's the same for all of the stocks, okay? They'll all be doing much the same, and we'll just take it bit by bit. Now Alphabet's interesting because, you know, if we consider 5 waves coming down here, it really hasn't really made a new low below the 3, so then it would kind of make sense to have a wave 2 and then to go down further into wave 3. So this is a stock that would be telling us that we need to go down further, you know. So that's important, all these little idiosyncrasies that we pick up along the way. That's the reason for doing the stock videos, to get some sort of idea of the indices video as well. Once again, here, probably I'm out of sync here a little bit, so can't see inside that gap there. I'm thinking I've got to bring this into line here, so apologies about that. I think we're looking at this wave 4 coming up here, and we'll need to look at this as, gee, do I need to put that over there? Bit hard to see inside that little dude. But the most important thing is lining all the ducks up, you know. And it looks like we're starting wave 4, so it'll be, yeah, so anyway, we can go. It will want to try to play to that large number there. Will it get there or not is another question. That's the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree, so we need to respect that as well. Once we're down here, it's the same thing again. We can look at this as wave 1 here. We can also look at it as an A wave here, and then we have a B wave and then a C wave, or we can look at it with a low already being in place. So yeah, but we'll see. Anyway, we just have to work through it. That's all. But if we do get another leg down here, that, you know, we should be able to do quite well out of that. And Facebook. So I've just changed things around here a little bit, and I've also got it very conservative as well. This 5 waves can produce another 5 waves down as well. So, but I've got 1 here with an A and a B and a C for wave 2, down for 3, 4, and 5. So you can see that the range of the trends, like it's just sticking out to me. So the first one's long, the next one's a bit shorter, this one's a bit shorter, and this one's a bit shorter. So we're going to, I won't go to the intraday today, but we're coming in closer for that 4th wave here now. Don't particularly want to get involved in this just yet, so we want all of these stocks to land, and then we'll have a look at the 100 ticks and, you know, 10 ticks or 5 ticks, and, you know, we need to work this up here. Our focus will really be in these moves that, you know, once this has landed, we'll try to look to be long. We don't have to be long in all of them. We'll look for the ones that have possibly got the best range in them. But yeah, so anyway, nothing to do at that point. And Berkshire Hathaway. So from the top here, we've got 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the 3rd, 4th, 5th here for the 3rd. I suppose we're getting close to that being done. It will be a bit lazy, this one, and but anyway, wave 4 can pull back to this wave 4, and then we'll have wave 5 down. So this can also have a low in place as wave 5 here, or we'll also need to be considering a corrective rally and then another move down as well at that point. So yeah. You know, maybe we should trade a little bit of, think of trading a little bit up here, and as we get up here, if we can make a little bit of money and get them to break even, and in some of them into profit in a small amount, and if it does continue to trend, then we can look to add to those positions. But if it turns, we need to be a surgeon and remove it as quickly as possible. And then we need to be on the short side. So we really need, the trader within you needs to come out at this point. Anyway, we'll get through it, and we'll do all right. So once again, for Square here as well, we're looking at 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, just the same as all the other stocks. Once we're down here, we can have a low in place, but otherwise we also need to be prepared to look at all of this as wave 1 here, and coming back into a wave 2, and then going down further at that point, as we've talked about before with this, and all this wave 1 would just come down here as the 5-wave structure 2, and then head on down at that point. So yeah, all same, but it's nothing really I can talk about here, because we don't particularly we didn't want to trade in the last ending of this particular trend at all, because it's just not good trading. I mean, as I mentioned to you, it's going down. If you want to stay down with a wider stop, that's great. The finance sector, once again here you can see that we're definitely from the top here and having the nice third wave in the middle here, we're definitely at the last stages of the banks coming into this space here as well. And in saying that, we're looking at wave 3, 4 and 5 here for this. But once again, the same thing again as well, we can look for once this has landed at 30, there'll be a bounce there, and we'll see what it looks like as it moves up here. One of the things about moving up here, one of the things that we can, like I mentioned, the structure, if this is an A wave or wave 1 here, they're going to be the same. They're going to be 5 waves. A zigzag, wave 2 is normally a zigzag, a 5, 3, 5 structure, and the first wave is going to have 5 waves in it. And it could be quite strong and lure you in, strong in terms of being like that, and lure you into thinking, oh shit, it started, I got to get in, but we'll be cool about that. We won't get drawn into that. But this move up here will be more interesting for us, because as a wave 3, we want it at least as strong as wave A, or even stronger. As a corrective move, as a wave C, it will be probably a bit more lazy like this, not like a wave 4, but certainly lazier. And being lazier, the more lazier it is, the weaker it is, So the personality as a dial here will help us recognize if this is a wave 3 or wave C. It might not be in this particular stock, but we might be able to pick it up, get a consensus of that across the other stocks and indices and so on, and we'll sort of figure that out. So in terms of trading this to the upside as well, this will have 5 waves in it here. So the idea, how I talked a little while ago about the first 5 waves here, that's where we need to catch this to get this, and then take some money off the table. We can get back in, we can trade this up, and then coming up to here, it's probably best if we just get out, and then we just sort of wait and see at what, how we build in on that side. But yeah, we'll see things like the personality of the structure at that point. But it's not that good to have a large 5 waves up here and have the ABC back and then get in here. I mean, as a second trade, not a problem, but not as our primary trade. So we really need to get that. We need to count from wave 4 to wave 5. We need to understand that there is 5 waves down here and just not 3 waves, and we're trading a little corrective rally. We need a very clear 5-wave structure finished, and we need to get that as a consensus across most stocks. And once we've got that, and we've nailed that, we can say we've ticked that box, that's the end of those 5 waves, then we can really focus on the first little 5-wave structure in this first move here for that, and then we'll get our sort of 5 waves up at that point. You may be able to, this first leg here will also have 5 waves in it. We might be able to get the first 5 waves in here. I might not be there at the time, but it's something that you could do. If I can, you know, in the previous video sort of say, well, this is definitely the 4th wave here, and there will be the 5th wave coming at this point, and we should get a bounce off 30 or whatever price point we're talking about, and yeah, take it from that point. So anyway, a bit of work to be done with all of these, but yeah, we'll just keep sort of chatting about them and hope it helps. Alrighty, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.